Mike's Daily Podcast.
Episode 1507, 1558, 1558. I'm Mike Matthews, broadcasting from Cafe Anyway, located somewhere in Podcaster Valleymont. That pen doesn't work. We're at Cafe Anyway, last place on earth. I am Mike Matthews, your host, where we talk about stuff going on in the world today. It's a jovial romp.
Mike's Daily Podcast.
As only I can do, because I am Mike Matthews. And that's my name.
Mike's Daily Podcast.
But I don't want to gloat about my name, cause it seems rather simple. I mean, there's other names. And hey, look, is that a pimple? I didn't know I still got those, but I guess I'm gonna get one of two of those things. So, you know, niet. If you're a Russian and you're competing in the Olympics, you're in a
Mike's Daily Podcast.
What's the name of their team? The We're Not Really Russians Russian Olympic team, because they got caught
Mike's
with all the drugs
Daily
with them
Podcast
stuff.
Yeah,
so we had a Super Secret Sunday show yesterday, and then the show we did before that was the Freaky Friday show. What is this? Contemplative Court Fountain at the National Museum of African American History and Culture. I was there. I don't remember this, though. There's this crazy fountain. Maybe I didn't go to this one. I don't know. Are all African museums the same to you, Mike? You racist. Is that what you're saying? No. I know I was at that museum, but it's a beautiful fountain that comes out of the ceiling. And then there's gold all around, and it showers, and there's gold and showers and Trump. What? Steele dossier? Look who walked in! All these people are walking in, and I am no time to say hi. Hello, Michael Mash, it's Madame Rootabega, and I wanted to wish you a Merry Valentine's Day. Ooh. That's not till, when is that? I'm single, I don't care. Hey, so the dream of every single person is maybe you'll meet the person of your dreams on Valentine's Day, and it'll turn into a wonderful Penny Marshall's brother movie. That was Gary Marshall, who we lost recently. And you'll have a wonderful, Drew and Drew.
And here's today's podcast picture.
You and Drew Barrymore will sail off into the sunset for Valentine's Day. It'll be wonderful. But oh my God, you're cheating on the beautiful Jennifer Connelly with the even hotter... No, she's not even hotter. How do you even compare? They're both insanely hot. Jennifer Connelly and who was the girl that was the Black Widow person? And I can't think of her name. Just scream it really loud at your speaker on your podcast listening device, and I will hear you. But that girl and that was the storyline. Isn't Ben Affleck in that movie? I don't know. Or was that... She's just not that into you. One of those horrible rom-com movies that came out about 10 years ago that I was forced to see because I was still married. But now I'm single, and now I'm divorced. And why do you have to put that down when they're asking you, hey, what race are you? I was told by a black friend of mine that I am not actually white, which I was, what? And she came up to me and she goes, no, look. And she compared her skin color to my skin color. And she goes, look, you're just a little bit lighter than me. So you're not white. I'm like, oh, thanks for explaining that to me. So this show's got really weird today. Well, I guess it's always really weird. But yes, we had someone else here.
Hello there, Mike. This is Valentino, the parking attendant. Happy Valentino's Day.
Yeah, Valentino Day. I'm Bison Bentley. Hey, Bison. Yeah, you're Valentino, the parking attendant. No, it's not Valentino Day. It's Valentine's Day, and that's not till 2 days away from this moment. But I have to admit, as a person that was involved in relationships, I was never good about Valentine's Day. I I couldn't, I'd stress out because I couldn't think of what to do. Everybody does that. The thing is, when you're coming up with a gift, you got to think about the real essence of who it is that you love and go, I'll do this nice thing for them. I once bought my wife, actually, when I was married. I bought her a website. That was my thing. And this was before websites really took off. So she was, wow, because she was a hairstylist, and it had like salon in the name. But there's also salon.com, which you can't get confused with. But yeah, so she had a website, and I had a friend of mine who was a webmaster make it. But then my wife didn't want to do anything with the website. And I remember her like yelling at me, how much money did you pay for this? And but it's the thought that counts, right? So it's whatever. I would love to have your tips on how you find the perfect present for the one that you love. Email me, MIKEs-DAILY-PODCAST@gmail.com, or you can call me, 336-MM-DAILY. That's 336-MM-DAILY. Call now. Operators are standing by. No, they're not. I'll just record your message. But yeah, would love to hear from you. But I was watching freaking, what was it? Last night. The most wonderful. It was okay. I tout how wonderful YouTube is because you can find just about anything on that glorious channel that apparently helped the Russians win. And that, or that was all social media that helped the Russians win. Wait, helped Trump win. Whatever. Cafe whatever. I don't know what YouTube did. YouTube does spread a lot of conspiracy theories and propaganda, as I got a Scottish brew there. But what I enjoy is it's free. And there's so many, you get the crazy, stupid commercials every now and then. But I was watching this guy.
He'd been hit hard in the stomach by a tennis ball, and the resulting abdominal ulcer burst and killed him.
That was George II.
The new heir to the throne
who died.
Was a 12-year-old child, Frederick's son, George.
George III. And George III was the king when we got our independence from England. That's what I learned. And when George Washington said to that King George, so it was the fight of the Georges, if you think about it. And anywho, the guy that narrates this, his teeth are awful. It's like they replaced his entire teeth with really bad rocks that you find in the ground that would never make good teeth. And that is why I love YouTube. Apparently this guy is huge in England. Mike Pence is raising the prospect of U.S. talks with North Korea. Could it be? Because we are doing the Olympics? And I am watching the glorious, what was that called? Curling. They yell at each other, really. I was watching curling, doubles curling, where they're, for some reason, it's always a guy and a girl. I guess that's the point of doubles. I don't know. Is that gender bias? Whatever. Cafe, whatever. I mean, cafe anyway. They yell at each other.
Anyway.
They're like, the Canadian guy. I didn't understand what they were saying, of course, with the other languages, with your Korean and your Swedish and Norwegian. But with the Canadians, they're speaking English, and the guy is saying, okay, you go down there and you go and you stand over there and you push, and they're using their little curling lexicon jargon. And the girl, oh my God, the girl on the Canadian curling team, beautiful. And so they're shouting at each other, and then they don't wear ice skates. They wear these shoes, and they're walking across the ice, and they take a couple steps, and then they can get down like really low, and they're just sliding across the ice, and one person is shaving the ice with this broom thing. It's just the craziest. Everybody laughs at curling, but it's fascinating. And now what's gotten it really interesting is the camera angles, because they'll get down really low so you can see how low the people get. It's just fascinating. I swear, I dare you. I challenge you to watch like 2 minutes of curling and not be, I might watch a little more of this. It's weird how it sucks you in, damn curling. It's like a vortex. It curls you in with its curls. My point being that I love... I mentioned in a previous podcast, I cleared up the Tuscumbia thing. I meant Tuscumbia, not Tuscaloosa. And I had a jump cut. Now, I don't know if today's show is going to jump cut at all. But what happens is, it's a non-intentional jump cut. It's where I'm talking to you, and the recording apparatus I'm using, for some reason, decides to stop. And while I keep talking, it stops, and then it picks up again, and then you've missed like about 12 words. So I was talking about Guitar Hero on the Freaky Friday podcast, and I was mentioning how people used to love playing Guitar Hero, and I remember this one family they were playing it over, and I heard Eye of the Tiger. They were obsessed with the song Eye of the Tiger. There's something about that song. So they were doing Guitar Hero to that. Now, that game has long since vanished. You can still become part of Guitar Hero or Rock Band clubs. Some people still carry that flame, that torch, but I'm done with it. I'm so done with the whole... I'll do a little karaoke now and then, but it just annoys me. Hey, that being said, let's go back to the United States, maybe looking more favorably at diplomatic engagement with North Korea, possibly holding dialogue as South Korea pushes forward with plans to establish grounds for a rare summit between the two Koreas. And that podcast picture was of Basil the Boxer, and this was at the Bayfair Island, Bayfarm Island, what do they call it? Bayfarm Island? I have completely... Harbor Bay Isle, Bayfarm Island. It's got two names for the price of one. And you can see that picture of Basil looking right into the camera with his beautiful gray face now at 9.5 years old, staring at the camera. And he's at that age now where his back legs don't really... He kind of doesn't... He loses control of them sometimes. He'll be walking, and if he gets just in the wrong sort of way, he kind of loses it. You can see he struggles with the back legs sometimes. But then he nurses it. We'll walk around, and I can tell when he doesn't like when we're leaving a place, so he'll walk really slow. But if we're walking to a place he likes, he'll walk fast again. He's a little puppy again. Dogs. You can tell what they love and what they hate. They hate going home. They just want to go to the dog park or to the happy place running in the... there's as I mentioned, a pet food place that he loves and that I like because there's a beautiful girl working there. But he loves going there, and it's his happy place, and they give him a treat, and it's so much fun. But Vice President Mike Pence said in a newspaper interview in the United States, and South Korea had agreed on terms for further diplomatic engagement with North Korea, first with Seoul and then possibly leading to direct talks with Washington without preconditions. The prospect of talks comes after 2 months of tension between Pyongyang and Seoul and Washington over North Korea's nuclear and missile programs, with U.S. President Donald Trump and North Korean leader Kim Jong-un trading insults and threats of destruction amid tightening sanctions. And Trump said they
will be met with fire, fury, and frankly power, the likes of which this world has never seen before.
Thousands of flights to London airport were canceled because of a World War II bomb found near the runway. That's just weird. That's all over the news today. And New York suing the Harvey Weinstein company. God, he just sickens me. And let's see. What? I didn't mean to click on that. I don't want to know about the new Skype. I just hate how Microsoft is trying to shove Skype down your throat. And I've got my own Skype. I think there's a Skype you can find through Mike's Daily Podcast at it's all confusing. I don't understand that Microsoft and Skype. And Skype has got these updates that make it work like crap. Trump budget will give up on a longtime GOP goal of eliminating the deficit. Yes, the deficit hawks, that was the term I was trying to use a couple podcasts back. They are screwed under the Trump administration because it's spend, spend, spend. And they're hypocrites because they used to yell at Obama about the exact same thing. Obama would put all this money to try and get the economy going again. And they'd be, no, Tea Party. They're going to just, Washington just thinks that money falls out of the sky.
Washington's made things worse.
Now they don't care. Now it's all about this. Now that the Republicans are in office, President Trump on Monday will offer a budget plan today that falls far short of eliminating the government's deficit over 10 years, conceding that huge tax cuts, and we're talking huge. We're talking, yes, I'm trying to find that. Here it is. Huge tax cuts and new spending increases make this goal unattainable. That's 3 people very familiar with the proposal said. Eliminating the budget deficit over 10 years has been a North Star for Republican Party for several decades, and GOP lawmakers took the government to the brink of default in 2011 when they demanded a vote on an amendment to the Constitution that would prohibit the federal government from spending more than it takes in. Paul Ryan, you know who Paul Ryan is, right? Because he says that I'm making a bunch of big deal about this story.
I think part of what is happening, I think Democrats are letting their hair on fire to get you to cover this story, to try and keep repeating the same story.
Thank you, Paul Ryan, repeating the same story. When he used to chair the House Budget Committee, routinely proposed tax and spending outlines that would eliminate the deficit over 10 years, even though critics said his changes would lead to a severe curtailment in government programs. In 2013, he proposed a $4.6 trillion in cuts over 10 years, and the White House and GOP leaders have largely jettisoned goals like this since Trump took office last year. As we go outside a cafe anyway, we're bringing you Mike's Daily Podcast somewhere in Podcaster Valley. Who is this lady here? Troubled news anchor does the unthinkable on air. Do I want to click on it and see what it is? Okay, here we go. I'm clicking on it. What happened?
All right.
Did anything happen? No. Oh, I got a Batman episode. Let's see. Oh, I have to begin a slideshow if I want to find out. Do I want to do that?
You've got to be kidding me.
All right, I'll click on this and see what happens. Oh. My whole computer blew up. All right. Thank you so much for listening to today's show. Next show, we will have the wonderful Chely Shoehart, Floyd the Floorman, and John Deere, the engineer. May you curl up with someone you love today and tomorrow and Valentine's Day, or maybe you're celebrating Valentino Day today, and enjoy the rest of your day. I'm going to be single for the rest of today and possibly tomorrow and possibly the rest of my life, unless I meet that special someone, like this hachi-machi hot lady who's on the this news anchor in front of a... Is a news anchor... This isn't a news anchor, it's a hot weather person. Whatever, same thing. Okay. Hope you have a wonderful day. I'm done.
Mike's Daily Podcast is written and produced and performed by Mike Matthews. His podcast is super easy to find. Download or listen to his show and read his blog at MIKEs-DAILY-PODCAST.com. Email Mike now at MIKEs-DAILY-PODCAST@gmail.com. See you tomorrow. Bye.